finger food, and we're live.
Oh no!
uh,
And
yeah.
there is
Okay.
human flesh, just like chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Communism is great, by the way. This is the Red Eye stream
What?
number 154. The real effects of communism when it's actually practiced. We were talking off air a little bit. 40 ounce, our co-host, he's been reading a book about communism in Ukraine when it was under Soviet rule, and there's a lot of excerpts out of that about cannibalism. So I mean, once you thin the herd, I guess it's easier to share everything, right, Cabby?
Well, especially if you share the herd amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Why? Just why?
Well, I mean,
Fuck.
that was probably what the the salt
Sorry.
mines were for. They were just curing the meat.
Wow.
Waste not, waste not.
No, now you guys just sound like Quinn. No.
Where is Quinn? This is the episode for him. Like, he could really get behind this episode.
Oh God, he hasn't been online in days. I've been trying to get a hold of him, and he is just gone.
Wow.
And he doesn't disappear and not get a hold of me unless his computer's down or his internet's down.
Is he on holiday or something?
Yeah, he's taking a holiday.
Yeah, it's holiday season.
He's taking a holiday to the Ukraine for some good eating.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
He wants some good quality Russian buttock.
Oh.
A bit of rump.
I'm a bit out of video idea, man. Seriously, I don't know what to create anymore.
Well, there's no market, or nobody's doing cannibalism videos. So there's probably a market for that. You might want to get in on the ground floor of a.
That's true. Yeah, you could do
market.
Do a sandwich thing. Do a sort of sandwich one.
Are we making a sandwich out of human thigh, or maybe some
I
bicep?
I have this idea that everything is already discussed. I see all these YouTubers talking about it, and me making a video about the same concept is like, oh yeah, just another video about that. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah. I get you, man, because that's the reason I haven't bothered. People say, "Oh, why don't you create any content?" It's like, well, it's already done, and it's done a lot better than I can do it.
It's hard to
more professionally.
And then also the lack of good equipment that I have to make an actual good video, that is, different from all the other videos. Oh yeah, and then you got the.
But cannibalism isn't different from all the other videos. I think you already have your niche. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but it's the time it takes to find the willing participant.
Yeah. Yeah, well, cannibalism, man. But I mean, it doesn't really threat us. I mean.
No, there's always a homeless.
No.
Yeah. I could actually.
Nobody will miss them.
I don't know, man. Maybe I should talk about California itself. So again, remember that I was talking about Agenda 21 in the World How It Is series. I kind of didn't really brought out more about it. There's so much more to it, to all these people who disappear out of California for good reasons and stuff, and the entire idea why they leave, and not to mention the entire overtake of social justice warriors everywhere in every single corporation what you can think of. Most of them are Californian as well. I have not seen a liberal from other states yet. Like all the liberals that I have met, all come from my state. Seriously, I'm not shitting.
Oh, I don't know. Try Canada. I mean, they are everywhere.
But this Canada. I mean, I knew about Canada, but I'm talking about.
Well, what about yeah, but where's Evergreen University? The Evergreen thing.
The Evergreen University.
Top there. Is that in California as well?
I don't know actually.
I don't think it is. there's been a few of them dotted around. There's been some East Coast ones as well. I don't think you're going to find that kind of shit going on in Kansas or in the Rust Belt.
Of course not, because Kansas, come on.
No, let me use this as an opportunity to switch it back over to communism, because California seems to really want communism, at least in the big cities. How do you think LA would turn out if California was allowed to just be communist, a communist state?
Have you ever seen Escape from New York or Escape from LA?
We would not even able to do things anymore, I think. Because communism is all about taking away rights of people and even your life. And they only keep you alive if you are actually useful for them. So if you're not useful, you're probably gonna die.
Yes, well, you'll still be useful. I mean,
yeah.
Finger foods.
In the terms of death, 6 feet on the ground, you're probably very useful for them.
You could be a nice moose bouche, but a Soylent Green.
Well, no, and off air we were talking a little bit about the former British Prime Minister. I don't remember his name, but you probably
Blair?
Wilson.
Do you mean
Wilson.
Tony Blair? Oh
no,
no, 1970s. Harold Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he supposedly had ties to the KGB. So I mean that also fits here with the communist theme.
I don't.
Well, mate.
Can I add that the KGB is not as it was before? Okay, it's just a secret service intelligence, and besides, the CIA is much worse than the KGB. Believe me.
Matt, going back on that one, you also have to look at that time, because there was a Christine Keeler scandal, which was the head of MI. It was a senior member of Parliament. Who was heading, who oversaw MI5 and MI6, the defense minister.
Yeah.
He was with this girl, and she was apparently potentially giving secrets. We also had the Philby McLean, all of the scandals that came out at that time, and they were all from Cambridge, the Cambridge Mafia. So, I mean, at that time, and they were all, KGB, they were all working for the for the communists. Yeah. Well, they were double agents, and they were significant players in our secret services. So that was all coming out at the same time too.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just him. There was definite things. I mean, well, there's proven definite things going on, because Philby ended up, was it Philby or McLean? Anyway, one of them ended up running off to Russia, ended up dying there in some hideous shithole.
There was like 4 years ago, there was someone assassinated in England, in London, by a Russian KGB man. I'm not sure who the hell that guy was, but he was a very important person, and he died because of I believe he was poisoned or so.
Yeah, he was. He was poisoned with radioactivity. They had
in a hotel. In a freaking hotel.
They could trace it all the way through London because of the radioactive signature. Like wherever he
he was in London. He was like in London for some sort of thing or so what he had to do, and he was killed over there, like in London, in his hotel.
Well, no, this is the thing. He was poisoned. He was apparently it was in the tea. So be careful.
Yeah, it wasn't a tea. It wasn't a tea
in the Savoy or something.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I refuse to drink tea.
Tea is nice. Come on.
They put a radioactive isotope into the tea, and he ended up literally. They had to go around whole parts of London.
Deserve downvotes.
Okay, so they had to go all the way around London, like decontaminating places where this guy had taken a leak, because they could detect the radiation.
Yeah,
the radiation, the particular isotope that they'd use was really really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. Well, then again, don't forget that guy who died on, the most recent one. Where him and his daughter, he died. His daughter, I think, survived.
Queen left. Not sure why.
Well,
no, and if you do communism correctly, it'll work, right, guys? I mean, come on. They're just doing
this is communism work. That is true. But for the same fact, it's
everyone knows.
Matt, for the same fact, it's socialism. I mean, communism is just a label. As a matter of fact, we actually all the time talking about dictatorship, not just there about communism. You know, communism is purely a label for the actual dictatorship that's going to happen. It doesn't really matter what it is, because communism is the same as that fucking shit that maybe Saddam Hussein did over his people.
Real quick, not to cut you off here,
no, don't.
But no, didn't even Stalin or was it Lenin believe that you needed a dictator at the beginning of the communist state to put everything in order, and then of course the leader will step down, right? The leader's going to join the communists.
Lenin himself
everything will be fine.
You need a
pretty much a dictator himself.
Phase of you need a transition phase of tyranny in order to usher in the utopia. That's always that's
break it down and then build up. That's actually the entire idea. So they have to break things down. So all the things that's happening right now is due to the process towards dictatorship, you know, and that's the thing. They're gonna break an entire system down to make an entire new system. That's why the chaos and the conquer and the dividing and stuff, you know, that's what they like, and that's where communism is actually also built on. You know what it is. I just call it dictatorship for a reason, because labels is just the thing in this world right now. Everything is getting labeled, you know, but they don't see the real actual thing going on. Like if you call it by the name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you get to tyranny. Who cares what you call it? You know, it's tyranny at the end of the day. It's still tyranny.
It is tyranny, and people will die in that tyranny, and people will suffer in that tyranny, and people have no rights in that tyranny, and probably there will be slaves in that tyranny. There will be people going away because they didn't agree with the very person that is doing the tyranny. You know what I mean? The thing is that they are literally liberal because they can't stand the truth. They can't stand someone else having another opinion than them, and that's why they try to subdue you. Think about Alex Jones. He's gone now for a while because the thing is, people didn't like his opinion. So that's gonna happen on a big scale if we talk about communism things. You know what I mean? People will disappear.
Let me try and steer the conversation here a little bit. At what population level do you no longer need a dictator then? Because obviously the dictator has to weed out the weak. That way the society itself flourishes, correct? Because if you're taking care of a bunch of people that won't contribute to the society, then they are a burden upon said society, and they're not doing their part.
Yeah.
Yes, but you see, the problem with that idea is, I mean, you see this with Venezuela. You end up where, I mean, you can reduce the population down, but you still have to have, the people need to be enfranchised, right? The people need to have power so that the rulers actually have to take responsibility for their actions. At the moment, we have zero accountability in our governments.
Well, that's the thing too. We have now like incompetent, lazy government leaders that doesn't do anything, not even trying to do shit. It's just being left alone.
No. They do lots and lots of shit, and they get into everybody's business, and they fuck everything up, which is why, you know, we end up with, you know, these ridiculous LGBT bollocks that people are paying attention to, when we got far more important things to address, like immigration and stuff. They're busy dealing with identity politics because they think might get them an extra vote.
Great Britain is probably entirely full of illegal aliens and stuff like that, illegal immigrants and stuff. You know, my country too, the Netherlands. God damn it! It is literally full with all kinds of Muslims, and that's already started in the 70s, though. That immigration shit. Yeah. But the thing is that this now so full with Muslims that you can't even see normal white people anymore. Look, I like white people. And I lived in a white people's country, and I actually think it's fucked up that I see more brown people than white people. Me aside, because I'm actually white in that terms. Because the thing is, I have a white mother. I'm born in the Netherlands, so that makes me basically all the time white. You know what I mean? I talk like a white guy as well, so that makes me white. So me seeing all these aliens coming in my country. I mean, they don't have the values as I have. You know what I mean? They don't understand the values as I have. Most of them don't even speak the language.
Oh, no. Have you not seen how they've improved Paris? They're doing a beautiful job of improving
Paris. Oh my God, these people have like since the time that they actually colonized Muslim countries, they already have like seriously lots of Muslims in their country.
Yeah, but Muslims are
getting more and more.
Muslims are more theocratic. They're not necessarily communistic.
It's one thing if you're a Muslim. It's one thing if you're a Muslim. It's two things.
No.
I don't care if you're Muslim. Not at all.
Hang on. No, Pepe. No, this is the thing, though, Mad. You got to understand that it's still tyrannical, because the whole point of a Muslim, an Islamic nation, is that it is absolute. It is absolute power, right?
It is absolute power. It's an ideology based on power.
You can have you can have a veneer of democracy all you like, but it is run by the clerics and by the imams and then eventually by the Ayatollah. Right, that person has absolute power, just like a king used to have back in the day.
Yeah.
Well,
today king has nothing anymore.
I recognize that, absolutely, but the political system and the political theory behind it, there is no economic theory behind a Muslim theocratic state. Really, they're really more concerned about the religious values being imposed upon the citizens. Doctrine. Are they not? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. If you please, you should look up the word maruna. Okay, that word is going to explain to you why Muslims are here. I mean, we can talk about moderate Muslims, but I've seen interviews with moderate Muslims, and they say also that Sharia laws should be a thing. Look, maruna is actually just like they come here and they do their thing, actually as normal people, to gain our trust, and then eventually they're just kind of trying to infiltrate into different kind of power factions, like the government, like the church, like anything powerful, and then they are trying to change things for their own benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
It's all part of the caliphate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've already made it quite clear. It's not like they haven't actually actively announced it. I remember hearing.
Why would they? They lie about it.
What was his name? The Prime Minister of Turkey.
They are obligated to lie about it. If you, they're gonna lie about it.
Yeah, but hang on. Erdogan said quite clearly that if they have 2 children, you have 6. We are going to breed them out of existence. I mean, he actually came out and actively said that. He said that it was the responsibility of every Muslim or every Islamic.
Yeah, well, I don't see every Islamic as a problem, though.
Wait a minute, real quick.
Muslim, not all Muslims, but definitely all Islamics, because Islamic is where the problem lies.
Well, basically that's because the leaders, of course, indeed what you already said. That's the leaders. I mean, indoctrination, purely.
But even in the Quran, or Quran, however you pronounce the son of a bitch, doesn't it
you said it right.
Doesn't it say that you can lie to get your way as long as it improves the jihad?
They're obligated to. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to lie to you.
That's why Osama bin Laden pretended to be friendly with the United States in the 80s to overthrow the Russians, and then use the same weapons against the United States.
Exactly. It's pure tactic what they do, though. It's pure tactic.
Hang on, but when did Saddam Hussein use weapons against
Osama bin Laden? Is what I said.
Osama.
1989
Yeah.
Was Saddam Hussein.
When they came in, they still had rocket launchers and everything stamped.
Well, they did, but you sold them to them, for fuck's sake.
I know. We sold them to them in the 80s.
Yeah.
They worked with the United States in the 80s to help overthrow the Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Back to the communist thing.
Well, exactly. But the thing is, once you sell the weapons, right? I mean, that if you go in and you want regime change, he didn't expect that. That kind of came out of the blue. But the first one did, because of he'd already cleared it with the American embassy that he could go in because Kuwait was doing the slant drilling or whatever. So, and they said, well, it's a regional argument. We're not going to get involved. And then next thing you know, there's fucking 200,000 American troops in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, indeed. But I don't think even it is for changing of regime. They do it pure to literally conquer every single country there, and put banks there and put oil pipes there, so that they have their oil. Yeah. And that's what they want.
Controlling shit.
Yeah,
because,
controlling shit.
The whole place.
They don't really care about the people itself. The people itself can rot.
Yeah, but the place is going to shit anyway, and and then what? They end up shipping them over here. I think it's because they want to create like in America, they want a race war.
But the race war is already for a long time going on. If you look to South Africa,
Israel, let me finish.
That's already for a long time going
but
on.
so they bring in a whole bunch of people, which are going to cause all of these problems. It's a great way of thinning the population out, right? If we all end up, like the equivalent of a Holocaust, kill them all off because we've imported them and they've become a problem. It's a great way of getting rid of like a major portion of the population, because they're not going to go back. You know that, right? Those people
No,
are
they're
not
not.
going back.
No, they're not. They're going to sort of kind of integrate here with their shops and stuff, and they stay here, and they might even get a lot of more family over here too. Do you know what I mean?
Angela Merkel admitted it. She said that she was surprised when she invited them. She thought that they're only going to be here for a little while and then they go home.
No, she's a liar.
Yeah, well, of course she is.
Lying.
She got caught out lying, right?
She's fucking lying.
She's already admitted. Well, she hasn't admitted it, but she's been caught with the actual, the speeches that she's made. We need to invite these people, but they're only here for a little while. Don't worry about it. It's not a long-term problem.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that shit either anymore, man.
Yeah, but that was back in the 90s when she said that originally, and then of course she's totally fucking thrown herself she threw herself under the bus with that one.
Well, to be honest, Cabbage, she throws herself all the time under the bus.
Well, no, let's pivot back to the main topic here, communism in itself. If communism worked so well, why did China stray away from it and is now finally starting to get a real economy going? They're more capitalist.
They're still a communist party.
Yeah,
they're still a communist party, but their their economic theory has shifted towards capitalism.
And they still try to do it. Let me basically see this, Maddie. It's more like they didn't ever actually drop the communism. They just did a little bit more Western things to, get better up. Because the thing is, they're still communist. They're just doing things differently. As a matter of fact, they actually copy everything what America is doing, even the technology.
Yeah, you see, Madaj, we call ourselves a constitutional monarchy, right? Like the Democratic Republic of Congo calls itself a democracy, right? Now, we have no actual constitution, right? We have primacy of parliament. We have a Bill of Rights, but we have no constitution. But we call ourselves a constitutional monarchy, but we have a sort of, we have the democracy.
I would still say it's a kingdom or so.
All China's done. Well, yeah, to a certain degree.
Just like the Netherlands, actually.
But if you look what communism did, it basically just, it just sort of pretended that the king, doesn't exist anymore. It's kind of like that sort of emperor's, new clothes sort of thing. So
I recognize that.
So it's really what you would call it's the equivalent. Well, instead of saying that they're, what would you call it? I mean, you could call it a communist. Well, you can't say communist capitalist, but it's it's basically just a blending of different things, but it actually the underlying power base hasn't changed.
Yeah. Well,
because they don't vote for the people. They don't have a democracy that is recognized in any way to any other Western nation.
Well, I know, and what it looks like to me, looking in at it, is that they've switched their economic theory to prop up their dictatorship. And it's not even necessarily a communist state anymore. It's a dictatorial state.
Not necessarily, indeed. Yeah.
Oh, the leadership has found a much better way of enjoying the fruits of their of their leadership, of their dictatorship. So they just found, they just know it's a better way to live. Under communism, even the leadership, they were doing good by, China's standards, but by the world standards, they look like peasants, Now they can fly around in their private jets and things, which they couldn't do before. So now the dictators have got the same, the same pleasures that Western, democratic capitalist countries have.
I think,
but they still retain their power.
Yeah.
The same thing that happened with the oligarchs in Russia. Same thing.
I do think that it is a little bit harder to get to that point of communism, though, because the thing is, people know a little bit more now because of the internet and because of the telephone and because of cell phones and because of other kinds of things and stuff. The news goes faster than ever. So whenever people are going to try to do shit, it's going to be in the news for sure. And if it isn't in the news, then other people will talk about it via social media or so. Well, what else? So the thing is that they need.
That's true.
They need to be careful.
What's the one thing that they have in China? They have the ultimate internet censorship.
They need to be. Yeah.
And they need it to maintain the illusion.
I don't know how the Chinese people are in considering with what they do to the people and stuff, but I do know that they have to be careful what they do. Otherwise, the people might stand up and do a revolutionary thing, and that's the last thing they want. That's the last thing they want.
Which is why they need to control the information. Which is why they have the Great Wall, firewall of China.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't allow the people to be educated as to what's actually going on in the outside world. Because the minute they do that, there would be a revolution.
Exactly. They even have their own social media to avoid that they might see something from what we Western people talk about. So
Winnie the Pooh is banned.
They've also.
What was that, Shirati?
I said Winnie the Pooh is banned.
What?
Yes.
Why?
That's true. Yeah.
What's the reason for
Hello
that?
Kitty.
What's the reason for that?
Because he looks like the president somehow.
Oh yes.
Oh come on! Fuck that shit, man. I know.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, what the hell?
I have a migraine and you just screamed in my fucking ear.
Yeah, just a meme.
I thought you would say you got a headache because of what happened to Hello Kitty and Winnie the Pooh, because that's pretty much outrageous, though.
No, I have a headache and you just screamed in my ear.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but
I'm sorry.
Very loud.
I'm sorry, my sweet queen sister.
Anyway, okay, so China's also banned VPNs, but the people are still using them. They're probably going to end up in jail as dissidents soon.
Probably.
What is communism really? Is it an economic theory like I propose, or is it a political theory and it doesn't really matter about economics?
That's the thing. It's an ideology.
It's an ideology, yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
It's political ideology, just like Islam is in a way.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do something with the people, actually, to be honest, because the people are always last. That's what you see in the pyramid as well, of course, because you have the people. Then you got the army, then you got the aristocrats, then you got the church, and then up there you got the Tsar or whoever is leading. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's that. I learned that on school even. Huh? I didn't even know that's actually about the Illuminati and stuff. Now I know.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it is ideological.
It is pretty logical.
It includes everything from production, distribution, manufacturing. I mean, everything is included in it. Embracing a philosophical sort of perspective.
Yeah, but Cabby, but what happens when you cut out all the economics out of it and you gut it like China did?
I don't think you worry because you have work anyway.
What do you mean? No, hang on. When you say they gutted it, what do you mean?
What do I mean? They've switched to a more capitalist type of economy to where you can actually own a business in China. You're not supposed to own a business in communism.
They didn't. Well, no, exactly. But that's why they have stepped away from it because they had to trade on the international markets. I mean, they were effectively going bust. Same thing has happened with Russia. And what happened? You ended up with all these oligarchs appearing, right? Because all of the internal people, the ones who were interconnected, the ones who had the close relationships, ended up doing the best deals. I mean, some of this shit. If you look at some of the deals for the oil refineries and things like that were done during the sell-off of, the resources within Russia.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened within China. And the thing is, within China, the only way you're going to get a business is if you have some serious connections to the inner party.
Yeah.
You are not going to get one just by being it's not that, pull up your, bootstraps and all that kind of thing. That's not going to happen.
I guess most people work in a sort of kind of, production work as well. I mean, all people have work. They just don't like the work because it's production work. It's mostly in factories and stuff. So that's just what they do. That's the only thing. That's the only good thing about communism, that everyone has a job.
That's why Apple ended up having to put suicide nets outside.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that they've been paid themselves
out.
Yeah.
No, but I was saying, people throwing themselves out of a window to kill themselves because they're working at an Apple factory.
They weren't trying to kill themselves. They knew the nets were there. It was their break time. They wanted to have fun. Come on.
No, it was the nets were put up there because of the suicides. The nets weren't there to begin
What
with.
I do see is that the people who want communism, they also want you to be comfortable. So you will not like see that someone is like fucking poor unless you're going into his house and you see actually what kind of house he has. You know
Oh,
you
well,
know what I
that's
mean?
true. I mean, it's a bit like if you go back to the Victorian times in Britain. Well, no, actually more. Well, sort of Dickensian times. You had workhouses, and that's effectively what you have. If you seen documentaries, where they've gone inside these places, and they're basically like dormitories, and the people have to pay, for their rent. It comes out of their wages automatically, and they're living in, a place with maybe 4 or 5 other people. It's almost like being in the military, actually.
Yeah.
Well, okay. No, wait a minute. I have a question then. Was it immoral then for the pre and post Civil War United States to have that same type of system in the North? They had factories where you went to the company store, you lived on the property, so they took the rent out of the check. You never really made enough to move on from that company. You worked there, and then your kids worked there. I mean,
well, I mean, you answered your own question. What? Well, I mean, you answer it yourself. I mean, do you think it was?
Well, of course. I say the Northern economic system during the Civil War was horrible, but I usually get some pushback on that point.
But yeah, that is war. I mean, in war, things are. I mean, if you look to the Second World War, how many people worked in factories that day?
No, sir. This was before the war.
For example,
this was the poor Irish. No, this was the Irish coming off the boat.
Yeah,
and all they
okay.
Like a steel manufacturing place in Pennsylvania, and they had to live there in a hovel, and they had to freaking shop at the company store with company credits. They weren't even issued real money.
Yeah.
And it wasn't unusual. I mean, but that's the same thing that happened down in the South. In fact, Adam Smith, when he was writing his treatise, he ended up having to amend it because once he'd seen what happened, it was in Virginia, I think. The tobacco in the tobacco farms. He'd been over there and seen what was going on, and he saw the lack of productivity because nobody gave a shit anymore. It was kind of like the equivalent that happens, when you have extreme capitalism and you have extreme communism, that there is nothing to be gained by actually making any effort anymore. Because, in extreme communism, the more effort you put in, you get nothing extra out. And the same thing happens when you've got that company store situation. And so the people that basically do the minimum so they can, because they know damn well that they're not going to get anything more than the basics anyway. So it ends up effectively, negating any idea that you're going to get major productivity out of people in the first place. And so Adam Smith, he changed it. He pointed this out as part of his treatise. So even Adam Smith, the father of fucking modern capitalism.
Are you talking about the Wealth of Nations?
Yes. Well, the Wealth of Nations, but I think it was an addendum that was done.
Oh, okay.
Where he extended, well, maybe it would have been probably in a different edition where he then modified his, his opinions at the end of it, pointing out that you can't sort of force people, down into the ground and, and not give them any purpose in life. And that's the problem, right? People need a purpose in life. And if they just perceive themselves as product, then they really don't see themselves as having any purpose. There's nothing to aspire to. There's no aspiration. And there was no aspiration when it was pushed that far with the company store, in the same way as there was no aspiration with someone in communism who can work his fucking heart out and get nothing better than the guy who does fuck all.
Well, I guess we can see it a little bit more now that people getting lesser paid now, and therefore they can't go around and stuff. So yeah, you could say that we are shifting inwards towards a communistic kind of idea. But then I rather call it Marxism because Karl Marx was literally the person who actually wrote the entire idea of communism. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, guess where he wrote that? Cambridge University.
Yeah, that's a surprise. Can you surprise? Yeah. He wrote it in England. Okay, now we understand. Yeah, well, the thing is that's the thing too. Then it's just a bit It's just Marxism. That's what I would call tyranny then, because he was actually literally this version is literally Marxism. So it is basically communism, but no one would call it communism. No one would call it literally communism.
Well, real quick, 40 ounce shared a little excerpt from a book he's reading. This is from Bloodlands, Europe Between Hitler and Stalin. It's from page 71, and it's pretty graphic. So, okay. Survival was a moral as well as a physical struggle. A woman doctor wrote to a friend in June 1933 that she had not yet become a cannibal, but was not sure that I shall not be one by the time my letter reaches you. The good people died first. Those who refused to steal or to prostitute themselves died. Those who gave food to others died. Those who refused to eat corpses died. Those who refused to kill their fellow man died. Parents who resisted cannibalism died before their children did. Ukraine in 1933 was full of orphans, and sometimes people took them in. Yet without food, there was little that even the kindest of strangers could do for such children. The boys and girls lay about on sheets and blankets, eating their own excrement, waiting for death. Yeah, communism, folks.
Yeah. No, well, look at Venezuela.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is communism.
They're eating rats. I mean, Venezuela is a perfect example, and we have Jeremy Corbyn over here, one of our leaders, who was a major proponent, for Hugo Chavez and everything, all that was good about, Venezuela.
Yeah.
Venezuela could have done really well if it had adopted the Norwegian model.
You follow a lot about Venezuela?
Massive resources.
Do you follow a lot?
Yeah,
man.
I have done over the years.
You should really make a video for about Venezuela then. Seriously, man, because no one is talking about Venezuela. No one.
Well, nobody's. No, I tell you what, I'd rather do one about Greece, because poor old fucking Greece. Look what's happened to them.
Yeah,
Nobody mentions anything about them.
That is true. They are very depleted now.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they
got
have
fucked in the ass by Varoufakis, and then
by Europe.
Well, I mean Europe, obviously, yeah. But I mean, they should never have been allowed to join the euro to begin with. I mean, that was manipulation.
We should never ever started the euro in the first place, and that's why I love you, Cabbage, because your country didn't even think about going to the euro. You're just like, no, we're just going to the pounds. I love pounds. Fuck euros, man. You guys are so smart with that. Now we're sitting in a freaking K-hole, basically, because of the freaking euro, and Greece is the first victim of that. Now the rest is following. Believe me.
Yeah,
that's you're right, man.
But when you look at it, I mean, but when do you see anything about it now, right? I mean, originally, remember they were trying to take over the infrastructures and everything else. Yeah. They've been screwed on so many countless times. There is no way on God's earth that they can possibly repay. They need to leave Europe, recreate, the drachma, whatever it was. Was it the drachma? Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
And then, call it whatever they like. And then devalue the currency and try and get back, like they did in the 1950s.
Yeah.
They did that before in the 1950s. You do the same bloody thing.
Okay. We have a question.
Get their lives back on order.
We have a question from the chat. This question comes from Moz. Panel.
Aye.
If an alien with no knowledge of this planet landed and he had to choose, can you honestly say they would choose democracy as better over everything else? Drop your own.
No, they come to England.
They
come to England.
We should actually consider that alien race has also democracy in his own on his own exoplanet. And then maybe he might, but at the other end, we only know aliens of trying to take over our Earth and trying to ruin us. So he might kill us, because we're just like screwing up here.
Oh, hang on, yeah, but it's just like, is this just where it would land? Just like which is the first country it would go to, or whatever? What would be its?
I fear that America is the first one that's going to be attacked, because the thing is America is now the head of everything what's going on. They are not the problem, but they are being used. Look, America is now being used.
No.
Let me finish. Cabbage, please.
The question wasn't about attacking. It was about if they were landing, where would they land?
America.
Democracy,
come on, America.
Would they land? No. It was about would they land in a democracy, or would they land in a communist country?
Or any other political.
Why would they be political in the first place?
Well,
exactly.
I would
be my first question.
I don't think aliens would have their own political theory.
It's a nice question, but
especially if they well,
it's a little
why
distracting.
wouldn't they have their own galactic empire? I mean, have you not seen Star Wars?
Well, yeah,
anyway.
exactly. Yeah, well, Star Trek is totally fucking socialist. I mean, they're total fucking Marxists. I mean, Star Trek is all about Marxism.
You think? You think
That's
the Prime Directive has everything to do with Marxism?
The whole thing. Look at the way it works, right? You don't have any money. Everyone's equal. Everyone's got. I mean, they're also fucking touchy-feely. I mean, it's a social justice warriors. You know.
I don't think.
Paradigm.
I don't think it's never explained.
That's true.
I don't think it's never explained what kind of system the Federation actually operates in.
It's communist.
They have a president.
I guarantee you.
They have a.
I don't
they
know.
Have a president, but I want to answer Moses' question. I don't know if I could drop my own bias because my bias is against democracy. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. I prefer a constitutional republic. But if the aliens had their own galactic empire, let's say it's like the Dominion from Star Trek. Since Cabbage started freaking out about Star Trek.
Yeah, let's say Cabbage is an alien. Let's say Cabbage is an alien. He's coming to.
Just a second. Let me finish. I think they would probably land somewhere with a monarch because they would recognize that as more similar to them, and they would think like the king is like the king of Earth or something.
See, told you.
Why would you land, Cabbage?
Stop Britain.
Why would you land, Cabbage?
Where would I land? I would land in the beautiful heartland of England. It's just lovely. I'd just do it for the aesthetics. That's all.
Where in England? There are freaking 4 parts of England. Which part you want to go?
Well, I'm just saying.
No, Cumbria.
You want to go to Scotland or so? Hey, man, Scottish.
God, no.
You want to go to Scotland, lad?
I don't need a fried Mars bar, thank you. No. The furthest north I go is Cumbria, but no, it would be probably actually somewhere down in Hampshire or somewhere like that.
Okay,
very nice.
Hampshire.
Oh no, actually Devon or Somerset. That'd be even better.
Yeah. All right, interesting. I would land right next to the Handstones.
There you go, Stonehenge.
Yeah, the Stonehenge. Yes, and then everyone is gonna talk about how fucking Illuminati that is. You know what I mean? You get my gist.
That's actually land on top of it. Just land straight on top of it.
Yeah, that's
so like a landing pad.
On top of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, marvelous. So are there more intelligent questions like this in the chat?
Well, memes brought up Asgardia as the aliens would probably go meet with Asgardia.
Oh, fuck you! I do not even want to talk about that thing again.
Girati, you managed to get your voice back. Well done.
Oh, I've been muted and clutching my fucking stomach because I am in
Who's muting you?
I am muting myself via my cord.
Oh, I got you. Man, yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Well, it'll all be over very soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, it will probably.
It'll all be over soon. Don't worry, Shirati. Once you get under the knife, you'll be portioned up and sectioned out to the population.
They're sticking a robot arm into my belly button.
Oh no, and I got it. You know how on Star Trek the Ferengi divvy up pieces of their body when they die? You should divvy it up and sell it, like whatever organ they're taking out. That'd be great.
It's my gallbladder.
Gallbladder. What's that?
There's gotta be a few pieces there.
Yeah. How much do you get for a gallbladder on the open market?
It doesn't work.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to work. It's more of a token thing, isn't it?
Coverage.
You dry it out and turn it.
Are they turning Shirati into Battlefield 5? Oh.
It's under local anesthetic, right? Though, so you're not under any major jeopardy.
Oh man. She's not from Yorkshire. You're not from Yorkshire, Sharati.
I'm from America.
Yeah, that's
Don't fucking talk.
USA,
talk.
USA, USA.
You are loud, and I've got a fucking migraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, don't mess with the poor lady. She's suffering.
Shall I give your head a kiss so that it hurts a little bit lesser, Shirati?
Okay, lesser?
It's-
Doesn't sound right.
Shall I give your forehead a little kiss so that it hurts a little bit lesser?
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it.
Okay, where were we?
Yeah.
Oh yes,
yeah.
aliens. Aliens, yes, aliens. Where would they
communism.
land? No, I mean, no. Yeah, no. Where would they go? You know, I'd be surprised if aliens, if they saw what was going on, that they'd even give us the time of day. I think they just look at it and go, "Fuck it, we're moving on."
I think they will vaporize us in the first second they're coming above our Earth. Seriously,
Why would they bother?
they're probably so done with our shit and stuff. All these feminists and probably also the Antifa fuckers.
Yeah, but why would they give a shit? They just, I mean, they don't need our resources. Christ, there's way more resources available. I mean,
the same reason why America is doing it.
No,
like sort of kind of galactic police kind of idea.
No, it's not. It wouldn't make any sense. I mean, unless they thought that we were a threat to, you know, some kind of galactic empire. But we can barely get a fucking, you know, we can barely get the moon occupied, let alone anything else.
Oh,
so,
that's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Give it time. Give it time. Give it time.
I don't know.
Give it time, man. Give it time.
We'll see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're just started in the '60s, and I mean, that's.
Well, that's what I mean. So aliens these days, they wouldn't really give a flying toss about us. It'd just be like, oh, look at that. Move on. You know, go somewhere else. See if we can find something more interesting. Maybe put a note on, like a post-it note. Let them know. Yeah, go back in a million years and see if they've actually.
You know, maybe there's even a good chance that aliens will be part of our society. You know what I mean? Like as in Star Wars and Star
Trek. Fuck me, that's all we need. Jesus, we got plenty of Muslims coming in. All right, I don't need a bunch of fucking greys suddenly wandering around in the supermarket.
No, you don't want Roger. You don't want Roger and stuff.
I don't want Roger going around the supermarket.
Roger. No. Oh man, that guy's genius though. Don't worry about it. But he is literally like a transgender because he's like all the time. You know, dressing himself in women's clothes and having all kinds of roles and stuff. You know, so you could say that Roger is the real transgender here.
Yeah, no, it's true. No, American Dad. But then again, what would you expect from the guy who wrote it?
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. I mean, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's.
Hey, Emma.
He's kind of a legend.
Emma, my love.
Hi, honey.
Emma.
Oh, I'm in a lot of pain.
I know, that's why I was going to ask you, why are you streaming right now if you're in pain?
To take my mind off of pain, but some idiot keeps yelling.
Thank you. I know I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
I'm loud. I'm proud.
Idiot. I'm proud to be an idiot.
Oh, don't be mean.
Are you two really?
Everyone's getting mean. I was accused of being the mean.
Or are you trying to band?
So, did you drink a little bit too much, Srati? Is that why you have a headache?
I haven't even touched a drop of whiskey.
You were talking about whiskey recently.
Yes, I was talking about whiskey.
Man.
I haven't touched any yet.
Oh, you didn't touch it.
You want me to? I will.
Yes, go ahead. Get some whiskey. It's probably gonna help for your migraine too.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's not gonna help your stomach. That's not good for your gallbladder.
Oh, your stomach. No one talks about the stomach now, cabbage.
No, look, perfect. You don't understand. She's going into hospital to have an operation.
Oh,
because this is the reason. Yeah, you see, you don't sound so fucking clever now, do you?
No, I didn't sound very clever there, no, indeed.
Guilt trip.
Yeah.
So there you are. She's actually she has a medical issue, so I wouldn't advise her to go drinking.
Be better soon, Shirati.
Whiskey.
Better ship, Shirati. I hope it's going to succeed. because it's never cool to do that shit. It's probably
Like I said, I hope Skynet's
No
not
shit,
activated.
Sherlock. Why do you think I've been bitching about being in pain?
That's Mr. Sherlock for you, okay?
Fuck you. The only person I call Mr. is my husband.
Okay, that's
You called me Mr.
Mr.
Cabbage
I guess that's
before.
fair enough. That's fair enough, I guess.
You called me Mr. Cabbage before.
Have I?
I must be honoured. I'm honoured. I didn't realise it was such an honour. Thank you.
It should be.
Hey, Maddie, do you have anything else about questions or so about communism and stuff? Because we are just like really, going
No, he's
astray and stuff.
disappeared.